Good evening, everybody, and welcome to ICSD Education. This is Govinda Karmakar. I am an educator and trainer of English and psychology. Now I am going to discuss regarding an interesting topic. The name of the topic is personality. So it will be helpful for the aspirants of civil services like states PSC and Upsc Cse. As per the optional psychology is concerned, optional state WBCS states PSC and other UPSC exam, UPSC and CSC optional psychology, and it will be helpful also for the aspirants of secondary, higher secondary and graduation, and also the students of MA degree, master degree. All the aspirants and all the students will be helpful by this video. Okay, so personality. I'm going to talk about everything about personality. So first of all, I'm going to talk about an important line. There is a popular line. Personality is to a man what perfume is to a flower. Personality is to a man what perfume is to a flower. This line is written by Charles Schwab, an inspirational writer. This is very popular line. Okay, so before going to the text and going to the discussion, you have to understand some topics. The main topic is personality, but there are some subtopics like to understand the concept of personality and its different theories, to understand how personality develops and factors that determines personality development, to understand how personality affects the individual behavior, and how personality concept can applied in organization. Concept of personality, like number 1, personality theories, number 2, personality development, number 3, personality determinants of personality, number 4, personality traits affecting behavior, number 5, personality traits in Indian organization or Indian personality traits of Indian managers, personality measurement, organizational application of personality. Okay, so these are the topics, and I'm going to discuss thoroughly regarding those topics. Listen carefully and to understand the concept and theory of personality, because this topic is very, very important. Okay, personality factors are extremely important in organizational setting, while perception, learning, motivation, etc. deal with some specific aspects of human behavior. Personality takes the whole man concept because it affects the various psychological process. Therefore, it is better to consider the individual aspects of person's makeup as bricks and personality as the whole house. Once again, therefore, it is better to consider the individual aspects of a person's makeup as bricks and personality as the whole house built of bricks, but held together with cement. This is very important line and interesting line. Okay, next, concept of personality. Now I am going to talk about the concept of personality. Though the term personality is frequently used by people, there doesn't seem to be any consensus about its meaning. It may mean different things to different people. To some, it means a general sum of traits and characteristics of the person. To others, it refers to a unique mode of response to life situation. Thus, there prevails a great deal of controversy about the meaning of personality. The term personality has been derived from Latin word persona, which means to speak through. The term personality has been derived from the Latin word persona, which means to speak through. This Latin term denotes the mask which the actors used to wear in ancient Greeks and Rome. Thus, personality is used in terms of influencing others through external appearance. However, mere external appearance, though may be important for personality characteristics, does not make the whole personality. According to Rouse, personality should include number 1, external appearance and behavior or social stimulus value. Number 2, inner awareness of self as a permanent organizing force. And number 3, the particular pattern or organization of measurable traits, both inner and outer. Taking these aspects together, personality may be defined in terms of organized behavior as predisposition to react to a given stimulus in a particular manner. This may be in the form of consistent response to environmental stimuli. The unique way of responding to day-to-day life situation is the heart of human behavior. Accordingly, personality embraces all the unique traits and patterns of adjustment of the individual in his relationship with others and his environment. This implies not only the structure of personality but its dynamic qualities as well. Taking these aspects of personality, Maddy has defined personality as follows. Okay, so personality is a set of characteristics and tendencies that determine those communities, those commonalities and differences in the behavior, like thoughts, feelings, and actions of the people that have continuity in time and that may not be easily understood as the sole result of the social and biological pressures of the moment. In this text, we shall take personality as the traits and characteristics of an individual because of he shows consistent pattern of response to environmental stimuli. Personality theories. Now I am going to talk about personality theories. This is very important. Many personality theories, not only from the field of psychology but even from other fields dealing with human behavior also, have carried on researchers to find answers to the questions: what is personality? What does personality constitute? How is behavior governed by personality? The various theories, however, could not give the answer on which consensus could be reached. Rather, these has resulted in a number of theories of personality. Just as everyone has his own definition of personality, practically everyone has his own theory of personality. Thus, grouping the various theories and labeling the various categories becomes a difficult task. Each theorist cannot really be grouped with another, even though he may have operated from similar positions. However, the most logical grouping of personality theories seems to be into psychoanalytic, socio-psychological, once again, psychoanalytic, socio-psychological trait, and self theories. So now I am going to talk about psychoanalytic theory. Okay, so this is very important, psychoanalytic theory. So psychoanalytic theory is based on the notion that man is motivated more by unseen forces than he is controlled by conscious and rational thought. Although Sigmund Freud is most closely related with this theory, others such as Carl Jung, Alfred Adler, Karen Horney, and Eric Fromm, who all broke from Freud, made additional contribution. Clinical techniques were used primarily to develop psychoanalytic theory. Freud noted that his patient's behavior could not always be consciously explained. This clinical finding led him to conclude that major motivating force in man was unconscious framework. This framework contains three aspects, though interrelated but often conflicting. These are id, ego, and superego. They are so interrelated that they can only be artificially separated from individual study and analysis. Okay, so what is id? Number one, id, ID, and number two, ego, and number three, superego. What is id? I'm talking about. The id is the source of psychic energy and seeks immediate gratification for biological and instrumental needs. Freud believed that instinct could be classified under life instinct and death instinct. Life instincts are hunger, thirst, and sex. The energy involved in their activity in the libido. The id would process unchecked to satisfy motives, particularly the sexual relations and pleasures, were it not for the challenging activity into acceptable ways by the ego. An individual matures, he learns to control the id, but even then it remains a driving force throughout life and an important source of thinking and behavior. Okay, number two, ego. The ego is the conscious and logical part of human personality and is associated with the reality principle. While it represents the unconscious part, ego is conscious. Thus, ego keeps the id in check, though through the realities of external environment, through intellect and reason. Out of the functioning of the id and ego, many conflicting situations arise because id wants immediate pleasure while ego dictates denial or post denial or postponement to a more appropriate time and place. In order to resolve the conflict, the ego gets support from the superego. Okay, next, number 3, that is superego. The superego represents social and personal norms and serves as an ethical constraints on behavior. It can be best to describe as the conscience. The superego provides norms to ego to determine what is wrong and what is right. However, a person is not aware of the working of the superego, and conscience is developed by absorption of cultural values and norms of society. The psychoanalytic theory of Freud is based on a theoretical conception rather than a measurable item for scientific verification. The theory does not give a total picture of behavior emerging from the personality. That is why the theory is not very relevant from behavioral science point of view. However, this theory gives an important insight into personality structure and the idea of conscious motivation and idea of unconscious motivation, which can be used by behavioral scientists. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you very much.